Today's video is a bit different. I was planning on bringing you a skincare video, but then something horrible happened a couple of weeks ago, which not only deeply saddened me, but also made me think about and reflect upon the way I live my life. And since I always want to be authentic and honest with you, it seems strange to talk about skincare when what I'm going to be talking about is so present on my mind. A couple of weeks ago, a close friend of mine died very sudden and unexpectedly at the age of 55. Her death came as a complete shock to her loved ones, friends, and the community she lived in. Bean, who is in my lab, and I just went to the celebration of my friend's life last weekend, which was beautiful and heartbreaking at once. The beautiful part was that over 200 people showed up to celebrate my friend's life. The church in which the celebration took place nearly burst at the seams with people, which is a true testament of how loved my friend was and of the incredibly positive impact she had on her community. And while my friend's life was cut way too short, what many of us who know her well feel consoled by is that, first of all, she died doing something she truly loved, in a place she deeply loved. But more importantly, she lived her life to the fullest. Every single person who got up to talk about my friend had come to the same conclusion. First of all, she marched to the beat of her own drum. And secondly, she lived her life to the fullest. Every time I heard that sentence repeated, I smiled, agreeing wholeheartedly. But while I have no doubt that my friend indeed lived her life to the fullest, since leaving her celebration of life, I can't help but wonder, what does it mean to live your life to the fullest? And am I indeed doing so? If my life was suddenly cut short, would I be happy with the way I lived it and the impact I had on this world? Now, and don't worry, and this is not going to be a TED Talk on how to live your life to the fullest, because honestly, I don't have the answers. This is just me thinking out loud, hoping to also get your input on what it means to you to live your life to the fullest. So if you don't mind sharing in the comments, what does it mean to you to live your life to the fullest? And do you think you're doing so? If you have been here for a little while, you know my channel is dedicated to, well, aging. I spend quite a bit of time keeping my body strong, flexible, and mobile. I spend time considering what to put and not put into my body. I take saunas, use red light therapy, and all kinds of other longevity tools and devices. I spend quite a bit of time researching which longevity supplements to take, and some more time taking said supplements. I also spend quite a bit of time focusing on maintaining and even improving my mental health, and a bit more time doing the same for my emotional health. Over the years, I have often been asked by strangers and even by loved ones and friends why I spend so much time doing all of these things, why I don't just enjoy my life. And even under some of the videos in which I share my journey with my own health and longevity, I will often get comments such as, why don't you just eat a steak, ice cream, whatever? Why don't you just relax and enjoy your life? My answer used to be that, first of all, I truly enjoy doing many of these things. And secondly, I do all of these things so I can indeed enjoy my life. And for the most part, I still think that's true. I do believe that having a strong, healthy body, along with a strong mind and good emotional health, will allow me to live a full life, or live life to the fullest. One of my biggest fears about getting older is to have to struggle with what we call age-related diseases. Diseases we used to think are just a natural part of aging, but we now know can be largely prevented with the right lifestyle choices. I have seen too many of my friends' parents, and sadly even some of my friends, having to center their life around managing an age-related disease, which is of course keeping them from living their life to the fullest. Witnessing that and learning more and more about what we can do to ward off these diseases has made me determined to do whatever is in my power to hopefully avoid a similar future. And of course, I'm hoping that through sharing what I'm learning through my continued research, as well as sharing my own experience, I am able to help some of you to live a more healthy, full life. So, for the most part, I do feel that while to an outsider, some or many of the things I do might look tedious, time-consuming, and maybe even as if they are taken away from me enjoying my life, these things are indeed allowing me to live a full life. A life full of things I truly enjoy doing right now, and hopefully, God willing, for many more decades to come. However, I also know that focusing on oneself too much can become an obsession, which then of course takes away from living life to the fullest. And I have definitely been guilty of that, especially in the past. On the flip side, since my friend's passing, I have had thoughts such as, first of all, what is life all about? But secondly, why am I working on all of this so hard? Why am I spending so much time on not necessarily extending my lifespan, but my health span, when life can be over just like that? So for me right now, again, I don't have all the answers, but right now for me, living life to the fullest means finding a balance of taking care of myself, my body, my mind, and my emotional health, so that if I'm lucky enough to be granted a long life, I can live it to the fullest, hopefully disease-free, doing all the things I love to do, without that taken away from spending time with loved ones, friends, spending time doing other things I'm passionate about doing, from being a positive impact on my community, and hopefully leaving the world just a tiny bit better than I found it. Reflecting back on my friend's life, my friend was just as dedicated as I am to being the strongest, healthiest version of herself. She worked out daily, rain or shine, and was very particular about what she put in her body. It was something we really connected over and spent hours talking about, and we also spent hours working out together. But while my friend spent quite a bit of time on, again, being the strongest, healthiest version of herself, she truly had found that balance, which was reflected by the huge crowd which showed up at her celebration of life. But even without seeing hundreds of people celebrating my friend's life, knowing her well, I know she truly had found that balance, and she lived life to the fullest. She spent lots of time doing things she was passionate about and loved, spent lots of time with loved ones, family and friends. She had an incredibly positive impact on her community. In fact, when for this video I googled what it means to live life to the fullest, AI told me that a life fully lived revolves around 4 to 7 core pillars, which represent the foundational areas of human experience that, when balanced, lead to a sense of wholeness and fulfillment. And according to AI, the 4 most essential pillars are health, wealth, love, relationships and community, and happiness/purpose. So, according to AI, and having known my friend really well, she truly lived life to the fullest. I can honestly say she left this world a bit better than she found it. She's an inspiration to me, and I truly hope I can find that same balance and live my life to the fullest. I would love to know, what does it mean to you to live your life to the fullest? And do you think you are indeed living your life to the fullest? And if not, what would you say is keeping you from doing so? If you don't mind sharing down below. I would also love to know what sort of content you would like to see from me this year, because obviously I would like to bring you videos you actually enjoy watching. So if you have any suggestions, anything you would like to see from me, please leave it down below in the comments. Any other questions or comments, of course, please leave them down below. You know, I always love to hear from you. And lastly, if you entered the longevity giveaway, I just picked 5 winners and announced them on my community page. So if you entered the giveaway, please head over to my community page to see if you won. Thank you so much for being here. I'm looking forward to reading what living life to the fullest means to you. Again, unfortunately, I don't have all the answers, but hopefully you enjoyed me just thinking out loud. Thank you for being here. Until next time, bye.